It's a show. It's a podcast show. Welcome to the Julie Cross Podcast Show. Empowering, energising and entertaining. A little Loving with Autism story. There's so many lessons out of this journey with autism, and this particular one is about a journey on a train. Thomas had just had a fairly stressful couple of weeks. He had had his wisdom teeth out, and then he'd also just completed a week of work experience at a coffee shop in town. So I thought that I would go in and meet him on the Friday to see him at work at his coffee shop and then get the train with him back home. So we hopped onto the train and I could feel Thomas and his energy. He was highly anxious. It had been a stressful couple of weeks. And so when we walked onto the train, he went right and I went left. You know, I thought, well, this isn't a bad thing. We probably need a little bit of separate time, a bit of time apart while he winds down. But evidently he didn't think it was a very good idea because as I sat down, he texted me. The text said, "I want you to sit with me." Fair enough, you probably think. So I kind of looked up and then he yelled out across the train, "Well, mothers really should sit with their sons, don't you think?" And evidently everybody else thought mothers should sit with their sons too. So up I got and skulked over and sat beside him. And now I knew it was going to start because you see, when Thomas is under stress or highly anxious, he just talks non-stop about stuff. It's just non-stop. And so we sit down and there's a guy sitting directly opposite us and he's a tradie coming home on his Friday afternoon, a young fellow, and we're kind of like that seats where you're just looking straight at each other. So then Tom starts, "Mum, what do you think that about these new shiny signs in the Wooloowin station? Why did they put them here, Mum? Because the others were old?" "Yes, Thomas, because the others were old." "And why do you think they used a different font than the signs at Petrie Station? Did you notice that? Why do you think they did that? Is it because they wanted to, Mum?" "I guess so, Thomas." "Mum, don't you dare I guess so me. Think of a better answer than that." And now I see the guy sitting directly opposite us start to smile. He can't help himself, and then Thomas continues. "And Mum, why does Dacabin come after Petrie? Because Dacabin is after Petrie?" "Yes, Thomas, that would be why." And Mum, what does VIRGIN, and I say under my breath, "Oh, God help me," and the guy is really giggling now behind his hand, "IA spell? Oh, phew, I say Virginia, it's Virginia Station." And he says, "Mum, why is the station called Virginia like a girl's name? Why did they do that?" "Oh, Thomas, just because." And Thomas says, "That's not a good answer, Mum. Show your son some respect." And this goes on, and now the guy's almost on the floor rolling around laughing and trying not to look like he's laughing at us. And of course I know that, and I'm not offended at all. Some people find reasons to be offended. We don't need to. He reminded me how funny this really is and sounds and helped ease my frustration and help me maintain my sense of humour. And then Thomas says, "What the hell is he laughing at?" At that point, I thought the guy was going to burst something and the other whole carriage was being entertained. I told Thomas he was just laughing with us and enjoying our company and having a lovely time. And the guy reassured Thomas that yes, he was. Now, this went on, and as the gentleman got off the train, he got up and then he turned around and he said, "Thanks so much. I can't remember the last time I had such a fantastic train ride." And then he said, "And you do a great job." And I said, "Well, you know, we get paid to hop on trains and entertain the passengers, don't you?" And he had a big laugh at that too. And as he got off, Thomas yelled out, "Have a great Friday night, mate." Now, you know, I'm betting that guy would have gone home and told that story many times that afternoon. And as he told the story, it would have been joyful and loving and happy. And whether he knew it or not, he got an education on autism and what that's like from my point of view, as well as Thomas's point of view. And that's not a bad thing. And like I said before, some people would choose to be offended at some point thinking, "Why are you laughing at my son? Don't you realise he's autistic?" And that just closes down connections when we do that. Don't look for opportunities to be offended. He wasn't being nasty, and in the end, as I said, he reminded me of the lightness with which we could view the situation rather than being weighed down in the frustration of it. So, you know, in a world of beige, you know, Thomas is colourful. He brings so much colour to the world. And that's a wonderful thing, and the world needs that. And that's what that was like that afternoon. In a train full of beige, Thomas was shining so brightly and he was so colourful. And that's just what the world needs, and that's what that young man noticed. Would you like a little bit more sparkle? Then you're invited to download a free poster at juliecross.com.au.